All right, good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the July 14, 2015 Board of Selectmen's meeting. Let's have a roll call, please.
Present this evening are Mr. Holmes, Mr. Slavin, Mr. Tropiano, Mr. Tadpole, Mrs. Whiteside, and Mr. Sullivan, who has stepped away from the room. We will not be entertaining town
All right,
council
can
tonight.
we have the Pledge of Allegiance? Let's see. Chris. Where's Chris?
No, how about Mary Ann?
Well, Mary Ann.
Mary Ann. Mary Ann Silva, come on down.
Yeah.
Hey, you don't come often enough. Anywhere. Pledge of allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Madam Clerk.
Announcements, please, Mr. Holmes.
Announcements, please. Well, I got to tell you that I've seen some new siding going up on buildings. That house on 12th, I always get confused with Avenue or Street up by the boat ramp. Now, when you're coming up the boat ramp, you look straight up where they just tarred the
I think
pavement.
those are streets over
That
there,
house
right?
is all being redone
The abs
there.
are over
It's
in
coming along real nice.
Louisiana.
You know, I noticed my old friend there out picking up trash. You know, I made a comment today that, 4th of July, we went to Centennial Park, which is the Olympic Park from '96 for the 4th of July. And there were so many barrels there that you had trouble putting your blanket down. That's not much of an exaggeration. And so when it cleared out, we're old timers, we had to wait till the crowd cleared, speaking for myself. And I gotta tell you, it was a sea of trash. Cups, the same thing people see here, diapers, pizza boxes, because they had, it wasn't Papagino's or something, one of those pizza companies, they give like the little pizza at those events. Boxes all over the ground. The barrels were not overfilled. Most of them were still empty, Mr. Chairman. So, I don't think it's about signs. I really believe it's about respect. And these people today have no respect. They were not brought up the right way. That's what I think it is, to be honest with you. When we were kids, my mother had 3 boys. My father didn't have to worry. He was pretty strict. But my mother, if she ever saw us do that, you get one of these Portuguese pinches right in the ear. And you didn't do it. You didn't even think of doing it. Throwing your gum wrapper. Mary Ann's laughing. She knows what I'm talking about. You never even thought of throwing a piece of paper on the ground. So I don't think it's about policies, carry in, carry out. Because we had the barrels there, Mr. Chairman. It was the same thing. There was stuff all over the ground. People blamed the birds. The birds put it there. They took it out of the barrel. The birds put the diaper over there in the bushes. It wasn't the birds, it's these people, they have no respect. So how do you teach people respect today? I don't know. But it's not just trash. You see it when you're in the convenience store. You see it wherever you are. So that's what I wanted to say about the trash. It's not isolated to Wareham. But I do want to give more kudos to those businesses down on Cranberry Highway, on Main Street, and then we have to talk about Main and what's that crossroad? Galt? Is it Galt or Halt? What's the name?
Gold.
Galt. We'll have to put that up and talk about that later, I think, under where we talk about the trash and liaison stuff. So I'll mention that story to you later, but those people, and I see people, they decorated their houses for 4th of July. I mean, I think the town looked pretty good from what I could see. I noticed people are not putting a lot of signs up on the, we counted last night, Sean and I, from here all the way home, and there was a thing for a church.
That's because
I
they're
saw
being
you looking
removed.
at that one yesterday, right? But there was a thing for the church.
That's because they're being removed.
Yeah.
And then the music series, where there was a lot of those.
They're approved.
And then down in Onset itself, on the, you know where the rail is?
Yep.
Bluff.
That's full of bands. And so was the bridge.
I think Derek's approved those.
So I think I heard Mrs. Whiteside say last week they're supposed to come here.
Yep.
Yes.
All these bridges, I don't recall unless I missed some, but I haven't missed anything recently.
Nope.
So we have a lot of signs. So I think we're getting better. But it's respect. I really believe it boils down to that in the end.
Okay.
And they just, you know, they trash the place, but that's probably how they live their lives too. Trash.
Anything else?
That's it.
Mr. Slavin, please.
I got a phone call, email from Bob Paulitis, chairman of the Wareham Housing Authority. I believe there is a bill sitting at the governor's desk, or an appropriation for an additional $100,000 for a maintenance repair for the facility. And he's looking, basically, he sent me a little note asking if the board, through the chair, would send a letter of recommendation. And that can be done just by Mr. Tropiano on his own. There's nothing special there. The Community Events Committee bill that got passed by the House and Senate, when it went through, it was going to the governor's desk. They noticed a Scribner's error or an error in numbers didn't jive out, so it had to go back before the House and Senate for a quick revote. It should be at the governor's desk and pass through on Thursday. Just want to let everybody know what's going on there. That's all I've got.
Mr. Titlebaum, welcome home.
Thanks. Nothing.
Nothing. You don't even want to tell us about your tour?
No.
Miss Whiteside,
You didn't set up a slideshow for me, so.
home movies, right?
Yeah.
Miss Whiteside, please.
Thank you. I have several tonight. The Boys and Girls Club want to make sure that the Boys and Girls Club of New Bedford and Wareham want to make sure that you are aware of a scam that is being perpetrated. Some people are saying that they are fundraising for the Boys and Girls Club, and they are not. So if anyone is in fact contacted by one of these scammers selling magazine subscriptions, please say no and then report it to the local police department. Wareham Junior ROTC is having their first annual golf tournament at Little Harbor. You can sign up with a team of 4 or 5, or you can sign up to pair with one of the kids in the program. Also be a raffle for prizes, and food will be provided. Anyone can sponsor a hole for $100 or just contribute to the cause. It's a very good program at the high school. It's one particularly important for kids who do not have strong role models at home. Date is August 8th, beginning at 8 a.m. at Little Harbor. And I'll put $20 on the table if you guys want to each put $20 on the table, and we'll have the selectmen sponsor a hole.
Sure.
Yeah. So the selectmen will be sponsoring a hole.
19th hole.
No, I don't think so. The Wareham Historical Society, in conjunction with the First Spiritualist Church of Onset, will hold a holistic psychic fair in their historic buildings on Saturday, July 18th. There will be about 15 mediums from around New England at the Historical Society's 2 properties, the Methodist Meeting House at 495 Main Street and the Fearing House Tavern, which is across the street at 11 Elm Street. In the Meeting House, there will be many holistic vendors selling goods such as crystals, stones, jewelry, Himalayan salts, salt lamps, and salt-related products. It says mediation cushions. I'm not sure it should say meditation cushions. Buckwheat pillows, handmade soaps and creams, and much more. Meeting House will also be the sign-up location for medium readings, which will take place at the Fearing House Tavern, which was built in 1690. The event will run from 10 to 4. This is on July 18th. The admission fee is $2 at the door, and the cost for a 15-minute reading is $20. The proceeds will benefit the Wareham Historical Society and the First Spiritualist Church of Onset. I mentioned this last week, but I want to mention it again. On July 26th, Andrea Daskalaskis and a group of 4 other musicians are going to be providing basically string concert music. On the 26th, the event is at 5 o'clock at Church of the Good Shepherd. On July 30th at 4 p.m., Stop Talking. Please. The people watching TV tell me it's really difficult to hear when somebody else is chatting.
What'd you say?
July 30th, 4 p.m., the Wareham Free Library will hold the concert, and it is a benefit for the Wareham Free Library. July 31st at 8 p.m., St. Gabriel's Church in Marion, and on August 1st at 5 p.m., again, the Church of the Good Shepherd, and it will benefit Toby Hospital. Again, I will tell you that it's some of the best music I've heard outside of the Boston Symphony Orchestra. It would cost you $150 a seat, so drop 10 and have a really good evening. Last year's Summer of Celebration can be enjoyed all over again thanks to Wareham Community TV. WCTV has released the Summer of Celebration DVDs as a 5-disc set. The historic Summer of Celebration last year celebrated Wareham's founding in 1739 and in the invasion and surrender to the HMS Nimrod in 1814 with a series of 15 period-themed events. There are about 90 DVD sets, but the station will order more. The sets are $25 each, and they can be acquired by dropping by WCTV. The cemetery commissioners, town administrator, and everyone else is really happy to announce that the final installation and testing of the valves at Agawam and Center cemeteries has been completed. Water was available starting today, July 14th. The water will be turned on during specific times of the day, and at the moment, those specific times are 6 a.m. to 9 a.m., and in the afternoon, 4 p.m. to 7 p.m. There are locks and preventative measures on these so that there will not be any misuse of money or, somebody running up a huge bill. On July 25th, 2015, noon to 6 p.m. at the Onset Bandshell, there's the first annual Ryan Levangie Memorial Concert. Ryan Levangie was a 2003 graduate of the high school, had the best smile of any kid I ever taught, died in a motorcycle accident, and local talent will be performing there. Grace Morrison, Brian Sance, Carlin Tripp, Angry Ginger, and the Whiskey Boys. Admission is free, but donations in memory of Ryan will be accepted by the Friends of the Wareham Free Library to benefit the Spinney branch in Onset. So go listen to some really good music and support not only Ryan's memory, but also the Free Library. Free movies have come back to the Onset Bandshell. July 16th, Paddington. July 23rd, Big Hero 6. July 30th, Frozen. August 6th, Wreck-It Ralph. August 13th, Brave. August 20th, Cars. These films are shown, what? Cars?
Yeah, Cars is good for the kids.
Okay. Obviously. Onset Free Film Festival was created in part by Paul Ciccatelli, who wanted to have people have a free entertainment in the village. I'm not really sure if it says gates open at 8 p.m. and the movies begin at dark. I would advise you to bring your DEET or whatever else you can get to keep the bugs off. And there are refreshments there. The Jazz Festival is returning to Onset. It's this Saturday, and will feature performance from the International String Trio, a Boston-based trio of guitar, violin, Ace. Players, local jazz favorites, the Groovalatos, and headliner Elon Trotman. It is from 1 to 8 p.m. on the 18th at the Onset Bandshell. Admission is $25 in advance and can be purchased online. And also, the organizers will be accepting donations of money and instruments at the festival. Just so that you know that seniors really do have more fun, the Wareham Council on Aging is in collaboration with the Old Colony Elder Services holding a summer barbecue on Tuesday, July 21st at 11:30 a.m. They will have information about low-impact exercise and helping people to avoid falls. The barbecue will feature hamburgers, hot dogs, salads, chips, and various desserts, most of which are not on our diets. And last, I think, June 30th, the Council on Aging had a first activities and pizza party. There was free pizza, there was learning how to play dominoes, and a game of chair volleyball, which is sitting in your chair and using a beach ball. So the pizza was donated, salad and dessert was donated, and this Council on Aging has really done a fabulous job of revitalizing what was a committee in the doldrums, and I congratulate them for that. What?
The pizza was donated by Salerno's.
Pizza was donated by Salerno's. Thank you.
All right, all set?
Yeah, thank you.
All right, I have, first thing is, I always get the bad news. The chair always gets the bad news, but Beverly Deacon's passed away. Everybody knows that's John's Deacon's wife. You know, the Deacon's have been a big part of this community for a long time. And, you know, it seems like as everybody's getting older, including myself, and these things are just not fun. And I just, I really respect John and his family and everyone else. And I just think we should give him a minute of silence at the very least. So could we have that, please? Thank you. All right, next up is on the meeting on the 28th. It is likely not going to be here. It's going to be in Onset. And you should watch the posting, okay? Not sure exactly where yet, but I'm pretty sure, but I'm not positive, so I'm not going to tell you. Yeah. And it will, you'll see, just watch for the posting, especially the news guys, okay? And you'll see where it's going to be. All right, so that's really all I have for now. Although there was a notice that St. Patrick's, right, has an event.
Yeah, St. Patrick's, I think it's on the 18th also. It's they have vendors, food, bazaar type thing. They have it every year, I think, at that time.
Okay. All right, then. Citizens' participation. Is there anyone here to talk to us this evening? Come on down.
I'm going to be somewhat redundant because we do have the two concerts at the library.
Could you
But I
identify
also-
yourself for the record?
Oh, I'm sorry, Priscilla Porter, from the Friends of the Wareham Free Library.
Is your
Uh,
microphone on? Can you see
Pull
the
it-
light on?
Yeah,
Just
there is
pull
a
it
light.
closer.
Pull it closer to you.
Oh, okay. I like it better back
They're
there.
having difficulty hearing.
Oh, well, anyway, I know Judy went over the concerts. The Ryan Levangie Memorial Concert will benefit the Spinney Memorial Branch. Ryan lived in Onset for many years, and that was the choice of the group, including Grace Morrison, who is actually putting all this together. And I would love to have everybody come. noon to 6. It's going to be a great event. And then later is, on the 30th, is the music from Land's End. Will be 4 o'clock, and following it will be light refreshments. Hopefully, if the day's nice, they'll be in the courtyard. But I'd also like to thank everybody. We had a wonderful book sale this past week. We could never do it without the generosity of the Wareham community. If you've been in the library, you'll see the collection cart is full all the time. And it's our community that pulls together, gives us their books so we could raise the money to help the library. And I want to thank everybody for that. And I'm done.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Anyone else? Seeing none, we'll move on. Appointments, reappointments, interviews. Election of poll workers.
I have a list of election and poll workers. Each of their terms shall expire on June 30th, 2016. Yeah, and that's spelled incorrectly.
All right, so you're
So
doing this in
I-
the form of a motion, are
Yeah,
you?
I move that the following people be assigned as election poll workers with a term to expire on June 30th, 2016.
Thank you.
Okay, I'll speed read it. Hazel Tabor, Precinct 1 officers, Hazel Tabor Clerk, 136 Marion Road, Wareham, Mass. Sharon A. Frazier, DW, what is that?
DW?
What's DW stand for? Deputy Warden, okay. 9 Bayview Street, Wareham, Mass. Poll workers, Shelley R. Andrews, 27 Old Onset Road, Onset, Mass. Elizabeth S. Averill, 7 D'Angelo Road, Wareham, Mass. Kathleen Clements, 80 Marion Road, Wareham, Mass. Marie S. Cooney, 434 Main Street, Wareham, Mass. Linda Coadler, 5 Cranberry Grove Way, Unit C, Wareham, Mass. Brenda Sylvia, 2 Pine Street, Wareham, Mass. Charlotte Short, 2 Foundry Circle, West Wareham, Mass. Precinct 2, Amy F. Tripp, Warden, 28 Highland Ave, Onset, Mass. Catherine C. Anderson, is that Captain? Clerk, okay. 16 Onset Ave, Onset, Mass. Poll workers, Rosemary Carter, 48 Highland Ave, Onset, Mass. Margaret M. Cook, 12 Cleveland Ave, Onset, Mass. Marlene DeCoster, just P.O. Box 999, Onset, Mass. Marjorie P. Fitzgerald, 27 Maple Street, Buzzards Bay. Sally Glinsky, 29 Maple Street, Buzzards Bay. These are actually people in Onset. They have Buzzards Bay addresses, however. Nancy J. Miller, 6 Rippler Road, Onset, Mass. Mary Paulette, 39 East Central Ave, Onset, Mass. Linda Prokowski, 41 Bay Street, Onset, Mass. Tanya Ravel, 4 Eddy Street, Onset, Mass. Precinct 3, officers. Michelle Montron, Warden, 37 Tyler Ave, East Wareham. Sanders Slavin, Deputy Warden, 36 Oak Street, Wareham. Actually, I'll strike that one. We'll do a separate motion for her, so Selectman Slavin can abstain from it. I'm sure he will. Sandra L., okay. We'll correct that. So I'll pull that one back. We'll do it separately. Carol L. Mazzarelli, Clerk, 3 Valley Road, Buzzards Bay. Poll workers, Elsie Mae Ganetto, 44 Sandwich Road, Wareham. Joy L. Gomes, 21 Camp Street, Onset. Barbara J. Gomes, 23 Claudia Street, East Wareham. Margaret Gomes, 229 Sandwich Road, East Wareham. Patricia J. Long, 10 Corey Drive, Wareham. Laura Lopes, 6 Cremisa Road, Wareham. Eva Sue Murphy Hall, 12 State Street, East Wareham. Joan Paulitis, 14 Corey Drive, Wareham. Stella L. Sylvester, 158 Sandwich Road. Precinct 4, Robert E. Short, Warden, 2 Foundry Circle, West Wareham. Deborah L. Finster, Clerk, 2 Thomas Ave, West Wareham. Poll workers, Corrine Cazzaro, 166 Pineview Terrace, West Wareham. Margaret O. Cook, 190 Pineview Terrace, West Wareham. Shirley Kucharski, 650 Main Street, Wareham. Beverly A. Lake Goonan, 149 Windswept Road, West Wareham. Diane Lazarus, 2 Myers Court, Wareham. Shani Trudeau, 1033 Main Street, West Wareham. Alice Trombley Flates, 35 Great Hill Drive, West Wareham. Precinct 5, officers, poll workers, Doesn't have any officers listed. Poll workers, Madeline E. Barron, 176 Pineview Terrace, West Wareham. John A. Cazzaro, 166 Pineview Terrace, West Wareham. George A. Chiquette, 7 Garvin Street, East Wareham. Wilmer Engelman, 5 Winter Street, West Wareham. Lois M. Fountain, 153 Winstrop Road, West Wareham. Barbara Hunter, 2 Galt Road, West Wareham. Pat Lockhart, 19 Second Avenue, West Wareham. Norma White, 37 Winship Ave, Wareham. Margaret K. Wood, 41 Highland Shores Drive, Wareham. Precinct 6 officers, Deborah J. Rose, clerk. Nancy Schultz, deputy clerk. Deborah J. Rose is at 10 Juniper Street. Nancy Schultz, deputy clerk, 5 Diane Drive, East Wareham. Poll workers, Catherine A. Conroy, 34 Lakeview Drive, East Wareham. Francis Murphy, 257 High Street, Wareham. Eugene Presner, 17 Atlantic Ave, Wareham. Priscilla Roderick, 19 Pineview Terrace, West Wareham. Carol J. Silva, 21 Indian Neck Road, Wareham. And Elizabeth A. Foley, 40 French Avenue, West Wareham.
You have to
Second.
second it.
Okay,
I made it.
motion made by Ms. Whiteside.
Second.
By Mr. Titlebaum, seconded by Mr. Slavin.
Yeah, we're going to do that.
We're gonna do it, okay? Seconded by Mr. Slavin. Any discussion?
None.
All in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed, abstaining, it's unanimous, 500.
Now, Mr. Chairman, we'll need a motion to appoint Sandra Slavin as Deputy Warden, Precinct 3, 36 Oak Street, Wareham, Mass.
Sandra L. Slavin, so moved.
Second.
Okay, motion made by Ms. Whiteside, seconded by Mr. Titlebaum. Is there any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, abstaining, 401.
Okay, and then we also need to appoint the election poll workers listed below. Each term shall expire on June 30th, 2016. Precinct 1 officer, Jack M. Silva, 8 Dinah's Way, Wareham, Mass. And Precinct 5 poll worker, Joyce Vega, 1 Heath Road, West Wareham, Mass.
Second.
Motion made by Ms. Whiteside, seconded by Mr. Titlebaum. Is there any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, abstaining, it's unanimous, 500. Next.
On the agenda, we have the Conservation Commission
This is a-
appointment
Right,
of Mr. Conley.
yep. This is a, this is coming before us again. You guys voted on this once before. However, after having some conversation with the Conservation Commission, they asked if we would review it again. And so that's why it's in front of us. So what I will entertain a motion.
You would have to have a motion to rescind the previous vote. Am I correct?
Yes.
It was unanimous.
It was unanimous at the time.
Can't
Well, you
can't
weren't here.
reconsider a unanimous
didn't
vote?
Did you? So is anybody willing to vote to rescind the vote?
Can't.
Okay.
It's unanimous.
All right.
Mr.
look,
Chairman, if I might just ask you a question about this, though?
Yeah.
I thought this was for a different position on the same board. Am I mistaken, missing something here?
No.
Oh, you can't reconsider a unanimous vote, can you?
Sure you can.
Sure you
You
can.
can
I thought you
reconsider
had
any
to be
vote.
on the, you had to be on the losing side of a vote to reconsider.
No, you can reconsider any vote. The only time a vote, like at a town meeting, for instance, if you vote to reconsider and then turn down the reconsideration, then it becomes a done deal. In other words, if, sometimes it happens, you've seen it happen at town meeting, where they want to make sure that nobody's going to mess with it the second day, they will vote for reconsideration. It'll fail, and then the vote will be done. You can't bring it up again the next day. But as far as any vote that we take here, we can always change our mind. Always.
Well, Mr. Titlebaum, we supported Mr. Titlebaum. This was his opinion.
Yeah,
Unless he
well-
has something different to say today, I don't see this.
Well, look, any committee and any committee has, in my opinion, can ask for us to review it again.
I don't have a problem with the question.
And I respect the committee enough to bring it before this board again and ask if the board could reconsider it. You chose not to do that, and that's fine, but I think it's appropriate to do when a committee asks specifically to have it done. Okay?
Yeah, nobody's, I don't think anybody's arguing that. I just didn't
All
know
right.
Mr. Titlebaum had anything to say.
Request for a one-day all-alcoholic beverage license, Dudley L. Brown, Post 2846. Hello.
Hello. I'm Julio Roderick from Post.
Okay, Julio, we know why you're here. This is in the pavilion, right?
Yes.
It's a horseshoe tournament and barbecue.
Could I have a motion, please?
Certainly. I move that Dudley L. Brown Post 2846 VFW at 4 Gibbs Ballpark Road, Onset, Mass. Be granted a special license on July 19th, 2015, from 1 p.m. to 8 p.m. The Onset VFW Pavilion, the outdoor area of the VFW.
Motion
The
made.
license is for the sale of all alcoholic beverages, and it is a nonprofit.
Second.
Motion made by Ms. Whiteside, seconded by Mr. Titlebaum. Is there any discussion?
There is
All in-
one stipulation:
What?
no alcoholic beverages to be consumed on town property.
Motion made by Ms. Whiteside, seconded by Mr. Titlebaum. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, abstaining, it's unanimous. Thank you, sir. You're
Thank
all
you.
set. You can pick it up in the office.
Yeah.
Okay. Application for Gateway Gold and Pawn LLC, 294 Main Street, for a pawnbroker's license.
I'm.
Now, I know he's not here.
Well, there's
and there are
some
some issues.
Yes.
Well,
I
let's,
had some, the license was made out to Gateway Gold and Pawn, Inc., but the application was signed in the name of LLC. And when our clerk called the petitioner, he said that the name was really Inc., so she changed the paperwork, which of course she cannot do. Then I checked with the town clerk's office, or the secretary did, and there is no current business certificate on file for this business. So there can't be anything further on it.
all right.
There's
but-
one further
ahead.
issue,
Yeah.
and this is just for the owner's clarification. Presently, the business, the officers, I don't believe list the applicant as one of the officers making the application, and that's something that should also be straightened out before it comes to us.
All right, the other issue that we have to deal with then is we have a business that is operating without a license, and it's a pawn business, which by statute cannot operate without a license. So we need to send him a letter to let's see if we can get him on board right away, because otherwise we're gonna have to close him up.
Well,
And maybe we should. Go
I-
ahead. Hold
Mr.
on,
Chair-
Steve was first.
Yeah.
Go ahead,
Mr.
Steve.
Chairman, if I might ask, the address on this application is 294. Is 294 the existing building it's operating in, or is 294 the one on the corner that's burnt out?
Don't know.
there actually was a question about the street addresses. I remember looking into this when that fire broke out, because I
Right.
had a student who lived in there. And there was a double numbering system. Those two buildings were known by two different numbers.
Right.
So I
But
can't answer your question.
What address is 294?
Well, this one says 298, and this says 294.
Well-
This application is so full of holes that it's,
Yeah, before this comes back, Mr. Chairman, I have a couple of issues here. One, the building, and I don't know the numbers, so the building on the corner that had the fire in
Right.
it, there was a license issued to that building, okay, for this pawn business. Pawn business. I don't want my accent to get in the way.
Which at this point is long since expired.
When that fire occurred, though, this board never has changed the address on that license from the burnt-out building to the existing building.
That's correct.
So one could argue that there hasn't been a license on that particular building in a long time,
That's correct.
and it was under a young lady's name. I don't recall the name. And now, if I hear you correctly, what you're asking to do now is change ownership of this
I'm asking,
from the young lady to somebody else?
Well,
I'm asking that we put it on hold for a week or 2
2
weeks.
weeks.
2 weeks.
Right.
But I also would like to suggest that in line with you aren't licensed, you don't operate, that
Wow,
he,
this is Wareham.
I understand that, but it's on Main Street, it's being discussed publicly, there's more than one issue with the paperwork, and
Well,
It is on our agenda, so I think it's okay that we're talking about this application,
Yes, we
right?
are.
Okay.
and the thing I have to point out is a pawn shop is different than a junk dealer by a long shot. Because there's
Oh, yeah.
actually state statute that requires licensing and certain things. This is not the same as saying we have a junk dealer that's operating, because there's so many issues around pawn dealers,
Yeah.
and especially when they come to policing and so on and so forth, that the state has very specific regulations. And there is no license there right now in
No.
place.
No, there isn't, not on that, but not on that building, Mr. Chairman. There never has been.
Correct. Go ahead, Mr. Slavin.
This is, obviously it's difficult for all of us, but at the end of the day, we have to treat everything the way the rules are. And at this point here, I think we have to basically, do a cease and desist on the business until the license is fixed.
I think that's a fact.
I don't think we're allowed to play with this.
that is my motion to,
If a license is granted.
well, but the business must cease and desist. It doesn't have a license right now. The documentation for the renewal application is wholly
Defective.
defective.
Right.
So the license under the daughter's name
Yes.
is valid or not
Is
valid?
not valid.
No.
Oh, it's
It has
not
expired.
valid. Oh, gotcha.
That
There
has
is
expired.
no license in place.
So they're trying to do two things. They're trying to renew a license and have it under somebody else, or get a new
Well,
license under
he was
somebody
trying to
else.
do it, but he has no business certificate, so technically he doesn't even exist.
Well, then it needs to be closed.
So it's very
That's-
complicated. So I would suggest, my suggestion is that I write him a letter tomorrow and tell him. Huh?
Just, I think we'd be best to bring this to council's attention when he's here on Thursday.
No.
Not here Thursday.
No, I don't.
Well, I think you can write him a letter saying
I
that
just
that
sent
he
him a
has
letter
to, he
that
has to stop
He has no license and he has to cease
Cease-
pawning.
Right.
He has a
Until
junk
such
dealer's
time
license.
as-
He can continue to sell junk. Okay, but he has no pawn license, and he has to, here he is right here. Why don't you come on down? So you got some, well, we got a bunch of issues, so you might as well sit down and hear this while you're here. Okay, so this is, first, the application, and I'm gonna let the clerk explain it to you because she has all the backup information, is seriously flawed. But secondly, you are operating a pawn store right now without a license. And the problem we have with that is it's not like a junk license. We have a few junk dealers out there that are operating without licenses. But a pawn license is very specific in state law, okay? So we can't even allow you to operate without a license. You see what I'm saying? Because the other license was actually on the property next door.
Well, I did change that.
Well, it doesn't show it in the paperwork
Does not-
anyway.
I changed the sign and.
Well, but you didn't never change
Has
the
to be
paperwork. The
changed.
board never changed anything for you.
And it has to be changed with the town clerk, and it has to be changed with the Commonwealth of Massachusetts, and none of those records are current. None
Okay.
of them.
Let me let the clerk go through the paperwork for you first,
You
okay?
did request it, Mr. Chairman, if
Yeah.
I might just clear
Ju-
that point up for
okay.
you. You did request it,
I
or
did.
somebody did request it. The person who did it had no authority to do it. He was not allowed to change the address of a license issued by the Board of Selectmen. He wasn't allowed to do that.
All right, let's go through the paperwork first, okay?
Okay, the application,
Can't help you.
okay, the application is for, well, this is from the town clerk's office. Gateway Golden Pawn, filed on March 24th, 2010, and therefore, under the 4-year provision, it has expired. So according to the town clerk's records, the business does not exist. Your application came in under Gateway Golden Pawn LLC, 294 Main Street. Your application itself came in under the name of Inc. and then it came in under LLC, and the clerk changed it on your behalf. The clerk does not have the authority, the secretary in the office does not have the authority to change the paperwork on the application. So then, according to the Commonwealth of Massachusetts, you are LLC, and
And he's
you're,
not an officer.
and you're not an officer.
You're not an
So,
officer.
I am, I'm the secretary. I don't know if that's been updated or not, but.
Well,
I
did
can
you
get any of
update-
the paperwork we need. The Inc. LLC was my fault. I didn't know the difference. If that's my fault.
use the mic, please.
Use the
sorry.
mic, yes,
I'm
sir.
sorry.
Thanks,
The
Chair.
LLC Inc. thing, that's my fault. I wasn't sure, incorporated or Inc. The reason why I told her, it said Inc. on our tax ID thing, it says Gateway Golden Pond Inc.
Then that's
That
what
was
you
Then
my
that's what you
assumption
are.
that what it was. Now, if it's an LLC, that's my error. I'll have to accept that. But, the paperwork we have with our tax ID number says Gateway Golden Pond Inc. So that's why I used Inc.
Are you incorporated? Then you'd have
We are
articles of
incorporated.
organization.
I don't know the real difference between LLC and corporation. I thought they were both corporations, but
No.
I could straighten that out.
Limited Liability Corporation is
Okay.
LLC.
I'm gonna have to look into that. I only used Inc. because that's what my tax paper says.
Okay, and also, the officers that are
Yes.
listed, you're not one of.
Well, I
So
was added,
you-
okay.
Okay, you can be added and you can update.
Yes.
But according to the Commonwealth of Massachusetts, you never updated it with them. You see, yearly, you're supposed to send your new officers to the Commonwealth and their addresses. And
That-
apparently you never did that. It's because, it's a filing fee as well. You gotta
Well,
send
yeah,
them
no,
money.
I thought we did that at the beginning of the
It's
year. That was
not,
added
it
for
doesn't show
secretary.
that with the Commonwealth right now.
It doesn't show that with the Commonwealth, and you
Okay.
are not current with the town of Wareham's town clerk, who is the official keeper of the records of all of the businesses
Well,
authorized to do business.
well, in actuality, does he need a business certificate? Can I ask the clerk, can you come down for 1 second for me,
Oh,
please?
yes, he does.
As a corporation, does he need a business certificate from the town? I don't think so, right? He still needs a business
he does.
certificate from the town
So that has to be updated.
as a corporation?
The state statute is clear.
Okay.
Even if you're a corporation, you should register with the town clerk. You're
Okay.
registering your business with the town.
And you're
Okay.
saying that was never done?
It was done, but it
Oh.
expired
It's
in March
expired.
March of 2014, I think.
That's correct.
So it just expired. So it needs to be updated
No,
every
No, it
2015.
expired a
Oh,
year
I'm sorry.
ago.
So it has to be updated every 4 years?
Every 4 years.
I didn't know. I can do that. That's my error also. I didn't realize that. And
Okay,
once
so-
you had to register, registered. I
So-
have no problem with doing that.
All right, so let me,
Mr. Chairman, I did dig up what's currently listed on the
okay, yeah,
Commonwealth of
go ahead,
Mass.
yeah.
Okay, the Secretary of the Commonwealth, Mr. Camerata, has
Yep.
the following listed for you, the corporation. The exact name of the domestic profit corporation, Gateway Gold and Pawn, Inc.
Inc.
So your
Okay.
Inc., forget about LLC.
Right, that's my error.
Let's see, for officers and directors of the corporation,
Should be so.
President Sarah L. Forrest, Treasurer Sarah L. Forrest, Secretary Robert C. Forrest, Vice President Robert C. Forrest, Director Sarah L. Forrest, Director Robert C. Forrest. So you're not listed in there at all, so the question then becomes, what authority do you have to submit the application to
None,
us?
None.
Okay.
So that needs to be squared away.
thank you.
I did file for secretary with the accountant, and I thought that was filed. I can bring that paperwork to you.
If
That's
you
just
have,
an error.
I think probably the board would want to see something that was stamped in by the Secretary of the Commonwealth, so that they could see that that actually had been filed. It could be that, listen, they don't update they're pretty good, they're actually one of the better state agencies when it comes to updating the paperwork that comes in, but they're not perfect. If you've got something showing not only that you filed it, but that it was received by them.
Yeah, we did it at this year's taxes, so it's only a few months ago, so maybe, but I will get that
It
paperwork.
might be
I have
worth
no
taking a
problem
trip
with
to
that.
Boston, to be honest with you, hand filing a change of officers and directors and getting it stamped in right then and there.
Sure.
And then that will expedite your ability to come back here before us and get yourself back in business.
No problem.
Also, I'm not an attorney, so I'm not giving you
Yeah.
legal advice.
Sure.
But I would make sure that you have an attorney review the paperwork, because a tax preparer is not qualified to file those documents and to make that
Yeah, okay.
documentation.
Well, he kind of just did.
Yeah, I'll get it all
I know
legal.
he
I have
just
no
did,
problem with
I'm
that.
just
All
telling
right,
you he's not qualified.
let me say this then. Okay. So this is what's gotta happen, okay?
Okay.
You need to go get all your paperwork straightened out 100%. Now, I don't think you have enough time, you might, in 2 weeks, to get it ready for the 28th. Okay,
I'll
try
do my
and
best.
do the
I'll
best
my
you can.
best, Sure.
If you go there, it happens pretty fast. I've been to that office myself. It's easy. You go up, I think it's like 27th floor. You go up there, give me your stuff. They kind of clamp it, and it works pretty fast. So you need to get, so everything matches and all gets together, okay? All your paperwork is right.
Okay,
In the meantime, you cannot pawn anything,
okay.
all right? I'm sorry, but
No, yeah,
by
yeah.
state statute, you have no license and you cannot pawn a thing until you get one.
Okay.
You can still sell your junk, or what,
Buy
I'm
and
saying
sell.
junk.
Yeah, no, that's
To you,
okay.
it's not junk.
I understand, no, I understand.
But that's the
deal, That's
statute.
the license.
You
So I can
have-
still buy and sell, I understand.
Yes, you have that, but you cannot pawn anything.
Mr. Tropiano, the thing I have is, when we first opened the business and filed, you know, we put in for the pawn license and a junk dealer's license, and we were only issued the junk dealer's license. Now, I don't know whether I did something wrong, or was the town that did something wrong, or anything, but when we opened the business, it was Gateway Golden Pawn, and we filed for everything. Now, whether or not I didn't get a license at that time, it could be my fault, it could be their fault.
You had a license.
So you have one.
You had a pawn license at the other address.
No, sir. I'm sorry. I don't want to say anything like that. We're only, the only paperwork I ever got was a junk dealer's license. Now, you know, I don't want to say anything. That's something that I believe was always been, and that was a question that I had.
Okay, well, let me just
I
put
don't
it this way.
mind getting everything done right
Instead
now.
of
I have
getting
no
off-
problem with that.
Instead of getting off on all that, it doesn't
wanna
really
go
matter.
Okay.
The point is this, in order to pawn stuff in the
Right.
state of
It's
Massachusetts,
a loan,
you
yeah.
must have a pawn license.
Okay.
And I'm gonna tell you, the state is very fussy and very particular about pawn licenses, because of course there's that whole thing about keeping track of things that come in that might be stolen and all that.
And we do
So
that,
they're
yeah.
very explicit.
We
So,
do, yeah.
forget about whether you had one, you
Okay.
didn't, right now you don't.
Okay.
So
We
you
do
need-
deal with the police log. Everything is, you know,
And
legit
that's
and all
fine.
that. Yeah,
And
we
that's
do, we
fine,
do
and we're
everything the way
glad.
it is. We even have to send the amount of interest stuff to the state, so the state knows that I'm operating.
Well, but
Okay.
you don't have a
You're not
license.
in-
Okay,
Operating,
all right,
okay?
I'll deal with all that right.
So
I
you
have no
need to
problem
go
with
and get
that.
your license straightened away, and when you do, we'll be happy to straighten it out here.
Very
And
good.
then you can operate legally. But in the
So-
meantime, you can't pawn anything,
All right, I have no problem in a couple weeks.
which
So
means
the
loan
next
money against you know how that works,
Then
right?
the next meeting that we can have is the
The
28th.
28th.
May I just
I'll
make
get everything done by then.
a
All right.
point of order?
Go ahead.
Because the license is before us doesn't mean that we're going to grant it. I think that.
Yeah. I mean, once
You can
again-
bring the license back, well, yes, so the
of
issuance
course.
of the license after your application is at this board's discretion.
Well,
Because, I
of
mean, I've been
course.
in business and I thought I had it, so I'm sorry to say.
Yeah, it doesn't mean
Yeah,
you're
All
gonna
right,
get it.
all
That's
right,
what I'm
I
saying.
understand.
Look, just put the paperwork together and get it to us, okay?
Thanks, Mr. Tropiano.
Let's get it all done right.
All done properly. I have
And
no,
then we won't have any issues with anybody. If you happen to get the license,
I have no problem with
then it'll be a done deal.
that. So, I'll do all that, but you're saying there's still an issue, so everything should be at the 294 address, is that
Gonna
correct?
be at the address you're actually at.
Right, well, it's, like I said, the buildings were, the whole building goes used to go 290 through 298. You know, there were actually two buildings on one lot, but it's just an address thing where the fire was, you know?
All right, not a problem.
So it's 294.
All right, I
Okay.
gotta move this on.
No,
Just
no, go
pretend
ahead.
you're starting from scratch and go.
I'll get
Okay?
it all by the 20th. Thank you.
All
Sorry
right,
for the
thank you.
problems.
Thank you, no
But-
problem. I gotta
Guys,
move on.
Good night.
All right, we
That
got a
was late.
request from the fan club at 2859 Cranberry Highway, Wareham, for a temporary change of hours. Now, come on down. What happened is that we have, in the past, done something that's a little wrong. We have been allowing them to extend hours by sending stuff in. Hypothetically, you can't do that, and we can't authorize that. You have to come in front of the board to get hours extended. Now, if you wanted to close early, we have a policy that allows you to send something in to the police department, and you send us a copy by email, and then you can close early. But when you extend your hours, that's a different thing. That's a license change, even on a temporary basis. Okay? And if you read the blue book makes it perfectly clear that you can't do that. okay? I'm sorry.
I
but
I never extend my hours to stay open later. I never close early.
But you opened early. You're opening early in this case,
I sent the request in to open early. That's
which
what
is
I
extending
do
your hours.
and have been doing for the last 29 years. That's how long I've been doing this.
You've been sending in a thing to extend your hours for 29 years?
Yes, I've been at the fan club for 29 years.
No kidding, really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Nobody picked up on it.
Nobody picked up on it, I'm sorry. You know, I don't want to, I'm not trying to scold you or anything, don't get me wrong. It's just that we were wrong. We can't do that. We can't allow you to
Because
extend hours.
Because my normal posted hours are 11:30 to
And you're going to open an
12:45.
hour early, basically, right?
10, he's
10.
asked
Yeah,
for.
and I want to open early because the people that use the facility need that time to
Okay.
get it all
It's
done
not
in
a
one
problem.
day.
Could I have a motion, please?
Sure.
Yeah. We'll just, you can do it under, once we put the motion on the floor. Could I have a motion, please?
Yes, make a motion that the Fan Club, Inc., DBA Fan Club, 2859 Cranberry Highway, East Wareham, Mass. Manager Glenn Justice, be granted an early opening on Saturday, July 25th, open at 10 a.m. on his annual common victualers all alcoholic beverage license.
Okay, motion made by Mr. Whiteside, seconded by Mr.
Holmes, on the
Holmes.
question.
Is there any discussion? Go ahead, Mr. Holmes.
Yeah, I have a question. But you are absolutely right. We only realized this about 3 weeks ago, that we were, the extension thing. I thought Mr. Bowen said that it wasn't enough just to have, because we could answer an email and say yes. I thought he said that night that there was some kind of a modification that had to be made to the license, not just coming in and saying, because otherwise we could do the same thing we've been doing.
Well, we just
Right.
modified his license for
For
that
one day. I think that's what we
That
just
has to be done
accomplished.
in person.
We are
There's-
literally
So
modifying
there's
his
no
license
paperwork
right now.
that goes with this. He
Yes.
doesn't have to fill out a paper or
He-
nothing.
Yes,
No,
he
we
has.
Oh, he
we
did?
have
has.
a license change that we're gonna give him.
For that day.
It's gonna
For
allow
that
him to
one
have
day.
That modification.
So
for
there
that
is a
one day.
license. Oh, I didn't
Yes,
see
there
that,
is.
that part.
Well,
All right. But
Okay.
you are right.
Yeah, you can
We've been,
close early, send us the notification.
Yes.
You can close early without it because they allow it they allow that
It's in the blue book.
in the blue book. If you take the blue book, you know, all the rules and stuff, in the blue book, they allow you, or allow us to have a policy to allow you to close early if you had to because of one issue or another. But they don't allow us to extend your hours without actually voting. So,
And when they say extend, it applies like later at night as well as
doesn't matter whether it's
day.
Doesn't
morning or
matter.
afternoon.
Yep.
Doesn't make any difference.
Because I do this about 5 times a year. So every
Unfortunately-
time I do this, I'll come before you.
Well, you don't necessarily,
You don't really have
you
to.
don't really have to be here.
Okay.
but you do
But I
have
have to
to,
send-
no,
Any
no,
question?
we're not going to ask him any
We're
questions,
not-
probably.
You probably don't have to come, but it has to come in front of us, and we got to authorize it this way.
All
Okay?
right.
It is what it is. I'm sorry.
It is, yeah, I know you can't change
I
some
apologize,
things.
but we can't change the book.
State law.
All right? All
But
right,
you're all
so
set for that day.
Motion been made by Ms.
Me.
Whiteside, seconded by Mr. Holmes. Any more discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, abstaining, it's unanimous, 500. Thank you, sir.
Thank
so
you.
for
I have
the
one-
25th, you can open at 10.
Right. Is there a physical license I have to pick up and have on the
It's going to
property?
be right here, we're going to sign it. It'll be picked up in the office over there.
No, it didn't.
Just
So I
for
can
that
pick
one
it
Did
up?
she give you one?
No.
Oh, she didn't give you one. We'll get you one.
We'll get you one.
We'll get you a certificate. It'll be in the office.
Okay, thank you very
Or you
much.
can sign, because you,
Thank you.
hypothetically, you gotta post it just like you do your license and everything,
Yeah,
all right?
all right, thank you.
Tomorrow,
Make a note
late
on
in,
that folder for her. would you?
yes, I'm doing that.
Thank
As
you.
long as I get it before the 25th,
Yeah, yeah.
we'll be fine.
You'll be
Yeah.
fine.
All right.
It'll be fine. Thank you, sir. All right, to vote to establish dates for fall town meeting and notice of intent.
Yeah, at least we find these things. I guess that's the good part.
Yep,
Okay,
fix
Are we
it.
ready?
yes.
All right, we got some reading to do, right?
Yep, notice of the 2015 Fall Town Meeting, Commonwealth of Massachusetts, Plymouth, SS, to either of the constables of the town of Wareham. Greetings. In the name of the Commonwealth of Massachusetts and in accordance with the provisions of Division 1, Article 1, Section 3 of the bylaws of the town of Wareham amended, you are hereby directed to notify and warn the legal voters of the town of Wareham that the Fall Town Meeting has been called by the Board of Selectmen to be held at 7 p.m. on Monday, October 26th, 2015, at which time the business of the town meeting shall be transacted. The last day for submission of articles to be inserted in the warrant is Thursday, September 10th, 2015. The warrant for this meeting will close on Tuesday, September 15th, 2015. And you are hereby directed to serve this notice by posting attested copies thereof in at least one public place in each precinct within the town on or before Friday, September 18th, 2015. Hereof fail not, and make due return of this posting with your doings thereon to the town clerk. Given under our hands, Wareham, this 14th day of July in the year 2015. A true copy. Wareham Board of Selectmen, Patrick G. Tropiano, Chairman, Judith Whiteside, Clerk, Stephen M. Holmes, Peter W. Teitelbaum, and Alan H. Slavin.
Do I hear a second? Seconded? Okay. Motion made by Ms. Whiteside, seconded by Mr. Teitelbaum. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, abstaining, it's unanimous, 500. She did do that pretty nice. Yeah, it was kind of, had a nice little flow. All right, next, discussion of the voting machines. You want to come down? All right, I'll sign these after.
Well, send them over there.
Yeah, you guys have time, you can sign. I'll
Two
sign
separate
it.
books, please.
I don't have time right now. Hello,
Good evening.
welcome back.
Thank you.
For the record, Marion Silva is asking,
Discontinuance of the old voting machines. We need a motion for that.
yes, we do, and,
Specifically, they're the AccuVote machines.
That they, what do we do with them?
You're discontinuing them.
Discontinuance, okay.
okay. I move that the Board of Selectmen vote to discontinue the old voting machines, AccuVotes. You want two separate vote?
Right, you have
Vote
to
to discontinue one and then, yeah, okay. And that would be effective immediately.
Motion made by Ms. Whiteside,
Second.
seconded by Mr. Titlebaum. Is there any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, abstaining, it's unanimous.
I move that the Board of Selectmen approve the use of the new machines, ImageCast Precinct Optical Scan Tabulators. And that, period.
Okay,
Second.
motion made by Ms. Whiteside, seconded by Mr. Titlebaum. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, abstaining, it's unanimous. Do you want to say anything about the new machines or anything to?
Well,
while you're
actually,
sitting there?
they look wonderful, but we haven't received them yet. And when we do, the company is going to provide training for all poll workers, election workers,
Okay, good.
myself and my staff.
You must be happy to have new machines, huh?
Well, the other ones were purchased in '96.
That's all?
That's all. So I think this will be, I think it certainly is going to enhance the election process. I think we'll have less errors. Almost 20 years. So, yes. Thanks to Derek.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
All right, next up is the discussion. How much they were already purchased. They're in the budget. They were already purchased.
They took a trade-in
Yes.
on the old machines.
Yeah, we actually had that as an article on town
It
meeting.
was an actual town meeting article on the last town meeting, Jerry. All right, discussion and vote to apply for a land grant. Come on down. Okay,
My name is Brendan Annette. I'm with Buzzards Bay Coalition, and we've agreed to assist the Conservation Commission in assembling and submitting this grant, but it requires your authorization.
okay, and the grant is for that parcel that connects to that other parcel, right?
That's correct. And Mr. Chairman, I believe there's some concern about they didn't get the copy with the signatures on them, so from the Conservation Commission, you already have those signatures.
I do.
Yeah, we've got copies of them in the office. Mr. Pachette's not in today.
So you have the copy, I'm
I-
sorry, did
I
the
have
conservation?
original signature page
Thank you
from the
very
Conservation
much.
Commission.
So it
Yeah.
exists.
Oh,
So what you need from us is a vote authorizing the chairman to sign the document.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, motion made by Mr. Titlebaum, seconded by Ms. Whiteside. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, abstaining, it's unanimous. Okay, thank you.
Now-
Mr. Chairman, did we actually have
Do
the
we have it for me
signature
to sign
document?
now?
I gave
You
it
want
to
me to
the
sign it now?
clerk, and if you
I'd
could sign
appreciate
now.
that if
that'd
you
be
could.
great.
Bring it on down. Hold on one second.
Yep.
Bring it on right down here.
This one is for you to sign.
And can you send us?
One that you need to sign is on tablet.
Yes, that's what I brought over.
Bunch of things to sign. I can't sign, that's why I abstained.
Thank you.
You have a junk license?
That's right.
Hey, do you need one of these?
Yes.
There's yours, and I signed two originals, one for our file.
I absolutely. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
You only need,
Yes,
yeah,
sir.
you only need 3.
All right, next up, any town business not reasonably anticipated in the last 48 hours. And I'm gonna go first to the town administrator. You have anything?
I do not.
Okay, Mr. Holmes. Mr. Slavin.
Just like to, somewhere down the line, get an agenda item talking about fines for trash.
Okay. I'll put it on.
We're not, no, we're just asking for an agenda item. No discussion.
For trash, you got it. All right, Mr. Titlebaum?
See, you can't go down.
None, thank God.
Ms. Whiteside? Anything? No?
Yes.
24 hours.
There's another 50 one.
Okay. All right, next up will be the town administrator's report, please.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. If anybody's gone past the town accountant's office, you probably see a lot of smoke coming out of there. It's been the year-end closing.
Yep.
The books all get closed through the middle of this month, so that's where all the screaming and smoke's been coming from lately. But the only item I have for you is, as you know, we're part of the Mayflower Municipal Health Insurance Group. Municipal Joint Purchase Group for health insurance that has 37 governmental units with 10,800 subscribers and over 20,000 members. This group has a 3-member finance committee, and at the last general board meeting of the group, I was voted in as one of the finance committee members. This is a good honor for the town, considering we are the newest member of the purchase group.
Attaboy.
So, just letting you know, we've joined up. So.
Okay. Thank you. Next up, liaison.
Sure.
You want a question? Yeah, you can ask him a question. Sure, go ahead.
Mr. Chairman, through you to the town administrator. Mr. Sullivan, last week, and I know you do this every month, but on the parking kiosk revenue, I think you said it was 39,000 or 36,000. If you wouldn't mind, just shoot us an email or put something out. Over the year over year, I don't think you talked about that.
Yeah, we
You
did.
usually do, but I don't think you said it last week.
Oh,
I
we
didn't
did.
get it.
36,000 was the previous year. We were a little bit over it, about 4,000 something.
So it
over
was
the
36
previous
last
year.
year, 39 changed this year?
Yeah, we
Is
would have
that
been,
right?
I think we hit the 40s, and we just went over 60,000 now. So,
Wow.
Over last year or?
60, no,
If you
60,000.
could just, if you wouldn't mind,
Yeah.
just,
All right.
that was the question.
Yes, sir.
Just when you have a chance to catch up, we haven't got our annual, our monthly and quarterly expense and revenue reports. Monthly expense reports, quarterly revenue reports. We're a
Yep.
little behind.
Well,
You'll start them up in FY16 again.
the months are started.
And we
You're
haven't,
looking for last?
Yeah.
For, last quarter?
we haven't had anything in 2 or 3 months.
There's no
Holiday
money left.
week.
I know there's no money left. Yes, we,
You actually, the interesting thing is you got your update at town meeting with the budget.
yeah,
Yeah, that's right.
we're still behind. That was March and April. I know he's not. It's a German thing.
All right, next up, liaison reports. We'll start with Mr. Titlebaum, because he probably doesn't have one. He's been away.
Not from this country.
All right. Now, Mr. Holmes.
Yes, Galt, G-A-U-L-T.
Road. West Wareham.
Main Street.
Yeah.
Coming up Galt from Cumberland Farms, then you get to Main Street.
Right.
You go through, that used to be the old parking there. The old park.
Mike.
Galt Road, coming from Cumberland Farms over to Main Street. When you get to Main Street, we used to go straight through there. We used to have a park there where they used to have concerts and picnics. Well, I believe the Grange is also on one of those four corners too, the old Grange, right? Now, what I saw and was reported, so I went and take a look, it looked like a salvage yard without the fence. No, I mean, it's pretty serious. It's at the corner of Galt in Maine. As you're coming up Galt, it's 2 o'clock. There had to be, seriously, 15 cars. Looks like a lift. Man, what the heck is that?
Well, we can ask.
If you wouldn't mind,
Ask the town administrator to
does
look
anybody
into
know
it.
about this first? I mean,
No, I haven't
if you
heard it.
guys issued a license to somebody
No.
there recently, maybe I missed
Absolutely
the
not.
meeting. That's why I'm asking.
No, not at all.
Because if not, Mr. Sullivan could look into that.
Mr. Sullivan could have
Push the
the
wall.
building inspector go take a peek.
There was a
something.
lot. I'm not exaggerating.
Yeah.
Could you take care of that? Awesome, thanks.
I just didn't know if maybe you guys
right.
had issued something and maybe
Nothing.
they were in the works of putting it together.
Mr. Slavin,
Nothing.
have you been liaising?
Oh, yeah. We had a meeting this week on this past week, actually Wednesday on County Road, as I explained to people that we were working on Rochester and Marion were there with their selectmen and also town administrators. The Mass DOT was there and also Serped. And basically, we're putting paperwork together, layouts of the road, and getting everything together through Serpent to start the process, which will take a while at least, but the end result hopefully will be that the state will take over the maintenance of that road. Planning board last night on the Bay Point project was put on hold. Bay Point asked for another extension. They made some changes that the planning board was asking for, but they weren't ready to present, so they'll be back, I think, around the second week of, second Monday of the week in August. So I think that's around the 13th. Oh, the 27th, going
Yeah.
back? 27th of this month, sorry. The Baker property, which is down on Lower Main Street, which has been sitting for a long time, which recently had the Nantucket Lightship, which was sold to a gentleman in New Bedford. I'm hoping to have a meeting with the owners and stuff to talk about the possible development of that property. I'll keep you more in line. I've got a call I have to make tomorrow to set up the actual appointment.
Okay.
So that's all I've got for
That's
this
what you
week.
got? Okay, Ms. Whiteside, please.
Well, okay,
Peter's already-
liaison, well, he needs to read that into the record.
Yeah,
okay.
I'll do that after
Um,
liaisons.
I just want to follow up on something that Mr. Holmes said and that people have been blogging about. Trash has many definitions, but the trash that's being left on our beaches by whomever contains things that actually can kill you. Needles, dirty diapers. They degenerate the water quality. If you're wondering why some of our beaches are closed, think of what's being left on the beach.
So she can do
I have driven around a couple of roads that kind of look like they come from a third world country. And I'm not going to name them, but they're kind of long roads, and they're not really heavily populated. But the people who do populate, there's some people there who have a real thing for nip bottles. Storm drains are not the proper receptacle for your trash, your nip bottles, your crushed Coke cans, or your shredded cigarette pack. Storm drains are to carry water away, clean water or clean-ish water. It's not fair to the people who live and pay taxes in this town, which includes the village of Onset, to be picking up after someone else. Most people, when they go to a grocery store or a hardware store or something like that, they get a bag. Might be a plastic bag, might be a paper bag. Leave it in the front seat of your car. When you finish your bottle of whatever, put it in the bag. When you go to the beach with your kids, your grandmother, the babies in diapers, take supplies to put the dirty diapers in a bag, take them home. Do they smell? Yeah. But think about what they're doing to the beach. They are degrading the entire presence of the beach. We've come a long way in lots of ways. Townspeople are taking pride in their property, in their businesses. A lot of people are picking up trash on a regular basis. But the beach? You gotta be kidding me. That's all.
You all set?
Mhm.
All right, do we have any bills? Oh, wait,
And
hold on, you know what, let's let Peter,
speed read.
I'm gonna have him read the dates, of town meeting again, the town meeting dates into the record, if he could, please.
Okay. Town of Wareham Board of Selectmen, 54 Marion Road, Wareham, Mass. 02571. Process for calling a town meeting, October 26, 2015, general business. Tuesday, July 14th, 2015, Board of Selectmen should establish all dates for completion of a warrant for the fall town meeting. Thursday, August 13th, 2015, any article that is not a citizen's petition article that would be a department head, board, or committee article must be submitted by the close of business for consideration and inclusion in the warrant. This is via Board of Selectmen Policy 88-9, no later than 30 days before the warrant closes. Friday, August 28, 2015, last day to post in at least one public place in each precinct notice of intention of Board of Selectmen to call the fall town meeting for October 26, 2015. This is pursuant to Bylaw Division 1, Article 1, Section 3, 10 days notice before the warrant closes. Thursday, September 10th, 2015, last day to submit petition articles to be inserted in the warrant. This is pursuant to Wareham Home Rule Charter, Section 2-4C, 45 days or more before town meeting convenes. Tuesday, September 15th, 2015, Board of Selectmen should officially close the warrant. Friday, September 18th, 2015, last day to post in each precinct and deliver a copy of warrant to the town moderator and to the chairman of each committee established by Section 2-5 of Wareham Home Rule Charter. That's pursuant to the charter at Section 2-4D, within 3 days of closing of warrant. Monday, September 21st, 2015, last day to submit to the Finance Committee articles included in the warrant. This is pursuant to Bylaw Division 1, Article 1, Section 1, no later than 35 days before town meeting convenes. Thursday, October 8th, 2015, last day to publish entire warrant in a local newspaper. It's pursuant to Wareham Home Rule Charter, Section 2-4D, not less than 14 days before town meeting. Monday, October 26, 2015, commencement of fall town meeting. This is pursuant to Bylaw Division 1, Article 1, Section 1. Fall town meeting shall be held on the fourth Monday of October. And that's it.
Okay, thank you.
Sorry. Could you read October 6th again for me?
October 8th.
6th. Was there
No,
There's no-
October 8th.
just the 8th? Okay, never mind.
Last day to publish entire warrant in a local newspaper, Wareham Home Rule.
It's okay. I had something for the 6th and 7th that had an error.
Okay.
You
Last
doing
day-
your own town meeting?
No, last day to vote for the BOS. It was the last day for the Board of Selectmen to vote on articles. And the way it was worded, it said to be included in the fall town warrant, which would be wrong. No problem.
All right,
It's not
consent
there.
agenda.
Didn't make it in.
So fine.
You have nothing? You
No,
have
I do
bills,
not.
right? All right.
Mr. Chairman, before we
Here's-
go, if
yeah.
you don't mind, the year-to-date for the kiosks, we've generated
Turn your pen back on.
$61,606. Last year, during the same period, we generated $51,130. That's a difference of $10,476 that we are ahead of the previous years.
This money is dedicated to general fund.
No, this goes into an account. The only way to spend right, and the only way to spend those funds is by taking it out from town meeting.
Okay. There you go, yeah. Sir, man, young woman? Anything? Sorry. Yeah, that would be appropriate.
Second.
Motion to adjourn, seconded by,
He made, I second.
okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstaining? It's unanimous. Thank you, Wareham. Have a great week.
Good night,
See you in a couple.
Do you, man?